He's got the coat on. You guys got the coats on. Chilly LA.
Mike, when you think about a Todd Bowles defense in the past 12 years, how has he jumped out to you and what he's evolved?
Schematically challenging. I mean, in every facet, fronts, coverages, pressure packages. His defenses have always been extremely good against the run in normal situations. Having to go against them in 21 specifically in New York, that was one of the best run defenses I'd ever gone against. 20, I think they were number one in the league. 19 when we were in San Francisco, opening up with them. Just tough stuff on first and second down, and then you would think you'd get some relief on third down, and here comes all the pressure packages and different looks and different, multiple stuff that they do. So a lot of respect for what he does as a coach, a lot of respect for what he asks those players to do, and they do it at a high clip. So challenge cut out for us.
When you look back on film from the win over Seattle, what did you see in terms of the issues on third down for you guys? Was that them just being a great defense, or what did you see that you need to improve on for Sunday night?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was there's a lot of things. There's things that we could have done better, that self-inflicted type stuff in terms of just matchups and whatnot. And there's give some credit to them. There's a reason they're one of the best defenses. So they're coming up within the next month. I don't know exactly when, so we'll be able to dive back into that. I do know it's a Thursday night game. I'm sure you guys know the exact date. Again, I don't. I know about – there you go. I know about Todd this Sunday, and that's about it in Tampa. So, again, we can fix some stuff. Credit to them on some stuff and some looks that they gave us, but we'll worry about that week.
McClendon had a couple good performances early. Warren had a couple good performances early in the year. Like, where have you seen the most growth from?
Yeah, just the physical maturity of the guy, in terms of going into this third year. He was beat up that first year, and obviously that's noted. He wasn't healthy out there in the practice field. So not only all those reps that you can bank, it's just he wasn't him. He wasn't up to his standard and the player that he can be. I thought last year he took some strides. Obviously got out there on the grass on Sundays, and then as he played this year, he just got better and better, whether it be on the practice field and again the experience that he's gained on Sundays. So. Have zero, alarm in terms of him being out there because he's played good football, and I know the other 10 guys on the field feel the same way.
Is there any benefit for him in terms of just focusing on the right side?
Oh yeah, I believe so. It's what those guys do, up front when you have to go from right to left or from outside to inside. I mean that's not easy, So for him to be able to just kind of stick on that right side with Alaric being healthy, has been big for him. Yes.
So what's going through your mind?
It's too damn cold down there.
Kyren is breaking into the third level, which we haven't seen a lot in his career, but last game seemed like he.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, credit to all the guys on, credit to the right call at the right time by Sean, and then credit to the guys executing, what were good looks right there. And then, we call it the scholarship player. There's always going to be a guy that's unblocked, and can you make a miss? And I thought Kyren did that at a high clip on Sunday, and I know you guys can kind of picture what I'm talking about. Is he was just kind of cross-courting and getting some of those plays. So whether it be that first run where he got 30, the short yardage where he ended up getting down to the 1. So. I thought he looked grounded. I thought he looked explosive. I thought he looked fresh. I think that's a credit to Ron in terms of the rotation that he's had with Blake. So there's a cumulative effect of this thing. This is a long season on top of training camp, and we've been all here since July, and here we are getting close to Thanksgiving. So for those guys to split up those reps, I think you're seeing the cumulative effects.
When you're in practices and meetings, what are the things you notice about the way that Rob has supported and poured into Warren and his development?
Yeah, Rob is he's a stud. He's a dude. He's a dude out there on Sundays. He's as tough as they come. I've always had respect from afar. My brother, when he was here, was, Rob was obviously here, so I've always known about Rob. And then just behind the scenes, how he helps those guys. So kind of hard to explain in terms of what exactly goes on in those meetings. But, he's a quiet guy by nature, but he's got a lot of information, and he's willing to share that information. So I know in his own way he's helped Warren, sometimes just by his actions, right? Seen is better than said. And if you watch Rob, that's exactly what a right tackle should look like. And I know those guys take note.
Steve has been dominant since he's returned to action in the run game. KD has been dominant all year, just terrorizing defensive linemen. Can you talk to me about their importance along the offensive line and how important it is that the offensive line gels along this home stretch?
Said KD like Kevin Durant or Kevin Dotson. We call him K-Dot. He's his own. But, no, I mean, both those guys, it's a fair question because both those guys, I think, have, done some great stuff. Obviously, K-Dot has stayed healthy this whole year, and I still think his best football is ahead of him. He can be as good as he wants to be. And he is a joy to watch. I mean, you guys see some of the stuff in San Francisco and all that where he's, putting some guys on the ground. Obviously, there's been viral videos of stuff like that. But he just continues to get better, and he is authentically himself every day. He really enjoys it. And same with Steve. Steve obviously missed some time and then be able to come back and again, just ascend as a player in all the phases, protection, run game, all that. And again, they've had they've done a good job cohesively, working together, whether it be in combination or in protection. Again, a joy to be around those guys too.
Kevin Dotson is a guy that has found new life here. And he's not the only player that's done that. Speaking for the organization, why do you feel guys thrive here on a second chance?
Yeah, that kind of answered a question like this, I think, a year ago. Just it starts up top. Ownership, Sean, Les, just the whole vibe here. And vibe is a big deal. When you walk in those doors, are you excited to actually come into work and get better and prepare and do all the things and have camaraderie with the guys and have some, dialogue with the coaches, whether it be about football or not. There's just a great vibe. And it's not even, it extends past just coaches and players. Just anyone that's in this building that touches these guys, they're in it for the right reasons, So it's cool. And I think you see that with a guy like Kate. And again, Pittsburgh's, a pretty respected organization that's won a lot of football games. So it's nothing against them or by any means any other team. It's just sometimes a change of scenery. But a lot of times, to answer your question, you come in here and guys enjoy coming into work each and every day to, one, improve as a person, two, improve as a player. And I think you're seeing that with him.
I guess Davante came in and said that vibe you were talking about was here and that he felt like kind of the weight of the black cloud has been lifted. Have you seen that just in the appreciation for here and kind of the vibe the culture that's
with Davante?
Yeah.
I think he's kind of answered that for you guys, And again, I don't ask Davante that stuff. I just see a guy that enjoys coming to work and chopping it up with all his teammates. It doesn't matter who it is. Davante is talking with them. He knows every single guy. I don't know what they're talking about half the time. I don't really care. It's between players. But, to your point, I can tell when he comes into those meetings, when he comes in the door, when he gets out to practice, Davante's having a good time. And, there's something to that again. When you're enjoying what you're doing, you got the right vibe, more times than not, it's going to work out for you, particularly when you're a talented football player. There's got to be a baseline there, obviously. And we happen to have a lot of guys that have that baseline talent for sure. So, again, it starts at the top, but got the right people on board, and it's pretty cool.
Where you saw him having fun, maybe not just talking to people, but during practice or in the building where you saw him having that fun and it stood out.
Yeah, it's hard for me to compare it to anything. I wasn't there in Green Bay. I just know, I wasn't there in Las Vegas or anything like that, or New York with him in New York. So you just see it daily with him. Again, it's he chops it up with all these guys. Doesn't matter if it's the scout team D lineman or the specialist or whatnot. So, again, just a guy that really enjoys coming to work and working on his craft and helping these other guys out, the young guys, Puka, all of them, in terms of all the knowledge that he has up here. Thanks, guys.
All right. How's everyone doing? Good.
So, you had Baker Mayfield in your building. You kind of saw what he did. What's it going to be like to scheme against him?
Loved him when he was here. He was just an awesome guy. Obviously it was a tough season, and he brought a jolt of energy to the end of that season. So, he's obviously a great teammate, competitor. Really, the thing is that we're emphasizing he's just the ultimate competitor. The game's never over. The play's never over. You just got to be ready to play 4 quarters, and we know it's going to be a battle, and he's a great player.
Sunday, we saw AP and Chris kind of put a rotation together on the fly. What did you think about how that group played together in those circumstances, and how are you still evaluating like that? rotation?
I thought it was awesome. The communication on the sideline, the calmness of everybody of exactly what we wanted to get done, how we wanted to do it. I thought Josh Wallace went in and tackled, did an excellent job, and Jacoby went in and did exactly what we know he can do. So just the communication on the sideline was really good. Obviously, you never want to use a player like Q, and it was kind of, we've always said it where he's a guy that it's not just one guy that replaces him. Really, it's all 11 got to step up. The communication, the physicality that we got to play with, and it's multiple guys that got to wear that hat to fill his role.
Roger was brought in for depth there at the nickel position. Like, where do you think he is in terms of his onboarding? Is he ready to play a bigger role?
Yeah, we're just seeing it this week. Obviously, we brought him in not to just sit on the bench. So we're excited to see him out there communicating. Obviously, he's still new to the defense. Get him going. We got a lot of guys in there that could play it. Josh Wallace has done a great job. Jacoby Durant's been in there, done a great job. So we're always going to find ways to get our best 11 on the field, and sometimes matchups dictate that. Sometimes the situation in the game dictates that. Sometimes what they're doing on offense dictates it. So we got a lot of guys that are capable of filling the role, and obviously it's a huge role to fill. Yeah, the play is just there's not many guys, in the league that are capable of doing all the stuff that he does, where it's just set the edge in the run game, man a slot receiver, play a half field safety. Not a lot of guys can do that, so it's going to take multiple hats to kind of fill that role. And I think the biggest thing is like you said, the leadership, the communication he is out there, how calm he is out there. And I think the underrated part of his game is how physical and hard he plays. I think that kind of defense is taking on his mentality, and where it's running to the ball, everybody's finishing on the ball, and we just got to keep that going. And I know Q's going to be here every day, helping that out.
When you have a game where you have 4 interceptions and a lot of stops for field goals, when you look at that and try to advance it forward, what do you want to build on from that?
I think it's just every week. That's the beauty of football, is win, lose, no matter how you play, no matter what you did, there's always going to be stuff you want to correct. There's always going to be stuff to build on that you did well. There's always going to be stuff that you want back that you want to correct, whether that's us as coaches putting the players in the best position, whether that's the players executing what they're supposed to do. I think there's always stuff that we can build on, correct, and, it's always better to do it after a win.
Going back to Baker, what Gary had asked, that week that he was here, he comes in, and Sean talked about it yesterday, how well you have to be above the net. What jumps out of you about what he did back then in that first week?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that week didn't really talk to him too much. He had a lot going on, but, got to know him after that game. But, no, it was just he was excited to go play football. And it didn't matter the stakes. It didn't matter what was going on. You can tell he's a player that just loves football, loves the game, and he's a guy that you would love to have on your team.
Chris, in your opinion, what are the Bucs missing not having Mike Evans and probably Bucky Irving too?
Yeah, it's just like we talked about with Q. I mean, there's not a lot of guys in the NFL that you could just replace Mike Evans with. And so, he's a guy that obviously dictates a lot of coverage, does a lot of different things. And he's just an unbelievable player and leader, and has been for a long time. We've obviously seen him a lot over the years. Hadn't seen Bucky Irving. And obviously not sure exactly what his status is, but no, he had a great year last year, and obviously we saw him some of the earlier games this year, and he's a great player, dynamic back, and obviously we'll have our hands full if he's ready to go.
Aaron was here yesterday. I know he's not around every day anymore, but what pieces of Aaron do you see still reflected in this team?
It takes on, I think he'd be proud of the way these guys work. He had a saying, hard work pays off, and he really believed in the work. And I think he would be proud of how especially the D-line, how they go about their day, winning the day, having a process to get ready for a game, buying into that process physically and mentally. They got a lot of really good guys in that room. That's what we make fun of Giff all the time. We said he's got the easiest job. All his guys are, just the hardest workers, tough, run to the ball. So, I think Aaron Donald would be part of that group.
I think the rotation at cornerback has done for the performance of those 3 guys?
It's just development, and what's so cool is just to see, it's funny, we were just talking to the walkthrough, because when D-Will got here, I think it was 2018, his rookie year, Akib and Marcus kind of took him under his wing, and those guys were the guys that mentored him, and now you see him kind of doing that with Forbes and with Kobe and stuff, and, they all just support each other, and I think it's just we can kind of either ride with the hot hand. Aubrey controls the rotation. We have a plan going in the game, and we have a plan going into the week. And I don't think they're really happy for each other's success. So that's really cool to see.
You do lose a player like as good as Quentin Lake and as well as your secondary is playing. What's the balance between finding like a collection of guys to do some of what he was doing versus having to tailor it to what those guys do well, knowing he's pretty unique?
No, exactly, and that's the beauty of coaching, figuring that out every single week. And obviously, we're real familiar with what Q did really well. We saw him all training camp and obviously all year last year. And now he's not going to be out there, so it's about kind of figuring out with what's best for the defense, but also what's best for the person that's filling that role and what he does best. And we're always going to do what the players do best, and what's best for the defense as well.
After having Baker here in the building and now him going to Tampa Bay, how would you describe the person and the player?
Elite competitor, great teammate. He was a guy. Just being the secondary coach. I actually talked to him a lot. Just kind of whether you're kind of standing there during special teams or things like that, and just a guy that really enjoyed being around. Kind of had a love for football, really a love for life. And just the elite competitor, like I said earlier, a guy that's never going to back down from anything, and it's a guy that's going to be tough going against. Cool. Appreciate it, guys.
How we feeling, Stu?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Am I booger free?
Yep.
Then it's a good day. It's a good day.
You guys got 3 guys going on the IR that are important pieces. Obviously, everyone's an important piece. But can you talk about the next man up mentality that your locker room has built over the course of this year?
Yeah, I think it's something that Coach mentions all the time, model the way. And I think of those 3 guys who are going on IR and being the best examples we have on this team, including Matthew, of being modeling the way, the consistency that they show up within the weight room, in the film room, and out there on the football field is something that I know is in the rooms, and it will definitely be a challenge for everybody to model the way and like they've seen before.
You look at how a defense is scheming, not just you yourself, but the team. When you look at what Tampa does with Coach Bowles, what stands out? What's his thumbprint that they do?
I guess they try to cause as much chaos. It forces communication. I think that's the biggest thing. It's something that I feel like we pride ourselves in our operation, and I know number 9 holds himself to a high standard in his ability to communicate pre-snap and post-snap with the ball and verbally. So it'll be a fun challenge for us for everybody to be on the same page, but definitely a little bit of chaos.
It's being celebrated during Sunday's game. Just when you think about his legacy and the impact he's had on this franchise, what sticks out to you?
I think it's something that Coach McVay has said recently is the game honors toughness. And if you've ever seen the guy number 99 walk on the football field or even out here on the practice field, you know that his game is toughness. And it's something that we feel like is an identity of ours. And when you see something like that going back to modeling the way, it adds that little bit of juice inside you.
Davante Adams has 1,000 catches. I'm sorry I don't know your exact number, but can you imagine having that many receptions?
No, I guess I feel like I've caught a lot of footballs in my life, and I'm like, I don't even think I've accumulated 1,000 in all the years I've played football. So to do it in the NFL at the highest level is it's a blessing to be around him, and it's been an exciting journey for our room to watch his process and how he's worked, even going into being in year 12 right now of the guy you saw Davante Adams watching in Green Bay, and now he's in our meeting room. So it's been really cool to see, and it's been fun to be a part of that process.
Davante said he's having fun this year. Mike LaFleur kind of was talking about it too. In what ways have you seen him, I guess, just find joy in being at the facility this year and being with his team?
I think some of the things I can think back of early on in OTAs and during training camp of being like, wow, how do I talk to Jared Verse to shut him up a little bit? So I think that communication and some of the relationships you build and the times you get to hang out in the meal room, and I think the authentic leader that he is has kind of allowed him to feel more comfortable and to have the conversations not only in our receiver room but to the D-line, to the linebackers. Just who he is as a person has kind of molded and I think allowed him to be like, all right, these guys are kind of funny. Verse does never stop talking, but it's also funny to hear him talk sometimes.
Maybe never seen a player talk to so many different players in different position groups as he has Davante. Do you see that too?
Yeah, 100%. he's everywhere. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I know I'm not always the first one in our meetings, but I know if he's not in there, he's hanging out with the guys.
You were talking about the toughness that AD exemplified in the body while he was here. How did that rub off on you?
I think making sure that the football saying is keep your head on a swivel. I know in my first training camp, getting some of the run plays and some of the blocking plays, or you're going back across the line of scrimmage, and then you trust everybody to do your job, so you don't think about, man, I'm going to run into the defensive tackle right here. But with the abilities that AD had, it happened a couple times. So making sure, like, man, I got to be on my P's and Q's at all moments. I wish in my best dreams, I don't think I win those battles.
It's tough in this league to continue to stack W's. There's so much parity. Getting up week in, week out. Does playing on Sunday night, though, in front of the country add a little juice that maybe could help you guys a little bit?
I think it's exciting for us. The mindset we're going is that they're big games because the Los Angeles Rams are playing in it, and I think that's kind of the mentality that we've adopted, and being like the standard that we have for ourselves is what's pushing us to perform every day and to have the performance that we want to have on Sunday. So it's exciting because we know that all the jerseys will be wearing saying LA Rams on Sunday.
Jamel Dean is a guy that's been in the league for a long time. What stands out about his game?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Dean, what stands out about his game?
I think that some of in their entire secondary is the length that they have in that position group. So it's nice to get some of these practices and go against some of our guys when we get our ones versus one reps, and to take advantage of the guys we have. We have somebody who has great length in Emmanuel Forbes and Kobe Durant, all of our DBs who have different skill sets. So it's nice to get to challenge ourselves before we get out there on Sunday.
Practicing in the rain, did it take you back to your Washington or days?
Definitely the no gloves took me back to Washington for sure. Luckily there wasn't too many rainy days. I'd rather take the snowy days in promo than the rain for sure. I'm like, it's easier to catch catch with gloves in snow than it is in the rain.
Change the way you do things at all out there?
I think it adds an extra level of focus and concentration. I wear my visor during, so I'm like, I don't have a towel, so I'm like, there's a little water all over my face mask, so it adds a challenge to concentrate and catch the ball, but then also to work your fundamentals and your technique while out there. The grass may not be where you expect it to be, so being able to really focus in on your technique.
What are your thoughts on how the offense has had some of the injuries that have happened to Rob Havenstein and Kevin?
Yeah, I think you never want to see anybody go down, especially with some of the stuff we've seen on the opposite side of the ball. But then I think the leadership that those two have in the room, and then the next man up mentality that we have. I think of Big Rob and Higgs, how much of the communication I've had with them being out there on the field, but I know that they have in their rooms. I know Tyler Higbee, I feel like sometimes is a little bit of a quiet guy, but I know in that meeting room he's communicating with the young guys who are getting a lot of these reps for some of the first times.
Cool.
Thank you.
Hello.
What do you like about playing Sunday night football in front of the entire country?
I mean, we're not playing at 1 o'clock for once, but it's cool. I mean, knowing that like all the lights on you, all cameras on you, like you the primetime show, it's cool. It's a good feeling.
When you know you're going up against a quarterback who likes to talk a little bit, does that kind of get you excited?
I know, I've been wanting to play Baker for a very long time. I've been admiring him since he was in college and everything like that. Looking at him, I'm like, damn, I want to go up against him. Now I finally get that opportunity. I'm excited for it.
When you say that, what makes him so good at escaping the pocket and extending plays?
I think it's just the ability that he has kind of a mindset of a defensive player. Like, no matter what it takes, I'm going to make a play, which can be detrimental at times, but for him, it's not that, it doesn't put him in a bad spot. Other quarterbacks, they're doing a bunch of stuff. They're throwing picks off that. They're doing all sorts of crazy things. He's kind of real in control when he has that ball in his hand.
When you were watching him and when he was at Oklahoma, and you said, I want to go against him, was there a specific moment, or was it his demeanor? What was it?
It was that Kansas game.
Was it?
Yeah, it was that game. That was a game I was like, yeah, that's a dog. I want to go against him one day. I didn't even care if he was on the same team or something in practice. I just wanted to go up against him, see what it's like.
Has there been any preparation in terms of trash talk like you have for Baker?
I mean, yeah, he's a quarterback that can do it all. He can run the ball. He can skate the pocket. Obviously, he's a quarterback where it's like he's not one of the quarterbacks who wants to run like every play. Like he wants to just make a play, get the ball downfield, do something that can help his team. So that adds its own kind of problems in and of itself.
So if you get a sack against him, do you already have something planned that you're going say to him?
Oh, no, I'm just going to do it. I never talk to a quarterback after the sack. I talk crazy to him, after a play, but after a sack, I just kind of celebrate my team.
Jared, in 22, he came in here on 5 days rest and won a game. Were you at Florida State then? Do you remember that?
At 22, I was at Florida State. I just got to Florida State.
Do you remember that game at all? He comes in on a Thursday night game?
Yeah, I remember seeing the interviews afterwards of him, like, kind of with Sean and everybody, like, kind of learning the plays on the way to the hotel, on the way to the facility, and I was like, damn, that's some It take me a couple weeks, couple months to kind of get the playbook hand in hand. The quarterback, the knowledge is that much more further than mine, so I was like, I got a lot of respect for him, not just on the aspect of what he can do, but the knowledge aspect that he has.
Jared, when you first got here, what did you notice about the way that Aaron Donald's legacy continued to have an impact on this building? And then, by extension, like, what is his mentorship, even in retirement, to you? What's that meant to you?
I mean, the one thing everybody brings up about him more than anything isn't anything that he did on the field. It's nothing that he did, outside of, helping others and everything like that. It's how hard he worked. That's the one thing everybody talks about. Sean talks about two people whenever he talks about hard work. He talks about Kobe, and he talks about Aaron Donald. So to hear that, I'm like, all right, to get to the point that he's at, get to the point that Kobe's at, to get to the point those greats are at, you have to work that much harder than everybody else.
On Sunday night, they're going to be honoring him in the stadium, different kinds of things. Any special motivation for you guys as defensive linemen with him kind of being singled out there?
Let's put a show on for him.
What stands out about Tristan Wirfs and just how he plays the position?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't hear a word you said.
What stands out about Tristan Wirfs?
Oh yeah, no, he's a big, strong dude. I mean, I think everybody saw that video of him jumping out the pool. I didn't see it till this week. Everybody kept mentioning it. I'm like, what the f y'all are talking about? But he's very athletic. He's very smart. He's savvy in the aspect that the way he plays and the way he can attack you in different ways and give you different sets. He's a smart athletic player.
The loss of Quentin Lake, I guess, just how difficult is that to deal with as a defense, and what, as a defensive line, what can you guys do differently or more of to help the guys that have to fill in?
I mean, first things first, we always have amazing backups. I mean, that's one of the things that we have that, Josh Wallace is coming in and he does everything he can. Like, he's fast, he's strong, he's smart, he understands where he has to be, what he has to do, any aspect, where's the ball's at, where his help's at. So I'm not worried about anything in that aspect of us doing anything different. We can just keep attacking. The biggest detriment is that's one of our leaders. That's the dude that broke us down every Friday, every Thursday, every Wednesday at the end of practice. He always talked to us. He always told us how special each of us are and everything like that, and to lose a brother in that aspect. And obviously, he's going to be okay. He had successful surgery. He's going to be back real soon, hopefully in time for playoffs so we can, make that good run. But, it sucks, but he's going to be great.
Who assumed that role in the interim?
Landman has definitely stepped up in that more so speaking role. Landman leads on the field. He leads in, when he's calling the plays and everything like that. But for him to take that spot of, Q Lake spot, Kobe Turner has done that too. Like, they're both kind of taking up that kind of more so giving that, long speech that they give on Wednesdays and Thursdays to know that he's taking over, they're taking over. It's a good feeling. Cool.
Thanks, Jordan.